Today, I will be teaching you about the anatomy of the organs of the digestive system. These organs are located in the thoracic cavity, or more specifically, your abdominal pelvic cavity, which is right below your diaphragm. So in order for healthcare professionals and anatomists to orient themselves and make proper medical decisions, they have come up with a four-region system called the abdominal pelvic quadrants, which is what you see here in this picture. The belly button is the central landmark feature, and the vertical line divides the region into right and left halves. The horizontal line passing through the belly button creates upper and lower halves. This is an important concept to understand because it will help us organize ourselves as we learn about the orientation of the digestive system organs. So here, the major organ found in the upper right quadrant is the liver, as we can see in the model. The main job of the liver is to filter out blood from the digestive tract before going to the rest of the body. So the majority of the liver is here in this quadrant, the upper right. The major organs found mostly in the upper left quadrant are the stomach and the spleen. We can see right here, the spleen is slightly behind the stomach. The stomach is a large muscular chamber with rugae, which isn't depicted in this picture, but it allows the stomach to stretch, making room for ingested food. The spleen is the largest organ in the lymphatic system. However, it is actually not essential. We can live without our spleens, even though they have an important role in keeping bodily fluids balanced. Again, here we have the liver, stomach, and spleen. These are the organs that come into contact with the inferior surface of the diaphragm. So the liver, the stomach, and the spleen. The organs that are closest to the pubic bone, as we can see right here, are the small intestine, which is only this part here. These are the small intestines. This right here is the large intestines. So the small intestine in here and the sigmoid colon, which is part of the large intestine, are the two organs that are closest to the pubic bone. The organ that lies directly deep to the belly button is the jejunum of the small intestine. As we can see right here, the jejunum is the middle part of the small intestine. So here is a image of a real human cadaver. We want to identify the liver, which is this organ labeled as A, and the stomach would be here, where B is in this area. C is part of the colon, the ascending colon, right here, this tube-like structure. D is where the spleen would be, slightly behind the stomach in this area. And E is right here, the small intestines. Here's a picture of a female sagittal cross-section. We want to identify the liver, which is this large organ right here. The small intestines, which are right here. The large intestines, which would be around here, and we know that because the large intestines lead to the rectum. And lastly, the bladder, which is this chamber right here. Here's a picture of a male sagittal cross-section. We want to identify the four organs we just previously identified in the female and describe the differences. And it may be hard to really identify the differences given that these are just drawings, but in reality, we would see that the male's bladder is larger and the male urethra is longer. Go back. The male rectum also appears slightly larger, and the liver is a solid organ. Here we want to identify the right and left kidneys. The right ureter, the left ureter, and the bladder. The right kidney is lower due to the fact that the right lobe of the liver is so large, which pushes the kidney down. So it's important to know that the kidneys are not the same height. Here's an inferior transverse cross section, which means that we're looking down into the body. We can identify the anterior side by looking at the abdominal muscles right here of the abdomen. And we can identify the anterior side by the back muscles and the vertebrae, which is the spine. Here's another inferior cross section. Right here, we can see the liver, this large organ. Then this is part of the large intestines. It's only a small segment. This is a transverse colon. These are the small intestines right over here. And up top, we can see the kidneys on either side. So looking at this cross-section from another cadaver, we want to identify these two major blood vessels. Blood vessel A is the aorta, and we can tell it is the aorta because its walls are thicker, meaning it's an artery, and this allows it to withstand greater arterial blood pressure flowing out of the heart to the rest of the body. Blood vessel B, right here, is the inferior vena cava, and we can tell because its walls are thinner, indicating that it is a vein which brings blood back to the heart. In this cross-section, we want to identify the liver, which again is this large organ, the kidneys on either side over here, the spleen, which is this organ right here, the stomach is here, the pancreas, we can see part of the pancreas right here, and the gallbladder, right, resting inside the liver, nestled inside there. Here are pictures of different serous tissue, which lines the body's cavities, holding the organs in place and providing support. We see that the mesenteries are folds of peritoneum that surround the GI tract organs. Omenta refers to a fold of peritoneum. So the greater omentum, which is right here, attaches to the stomach and it droops down to the abdominal cavity, coming back up to the transverse colon right here. Then the lesser omentum, which is right up here, connects the stomach to the liver. We can see in this picture. So in this slide, the question is, would you expect to find the superior mesenteric artery, the superior vein, and the vagus nerve in the mesentery proper? And the answer is yes. So the colon receives blood from the superior mesenteric artery, which is right here. And that blood returns via the superior mesenteric vein back to the heart, which is right here. And parasympathetic innervation of most of the GI tract from the stomach to the colon is originally from the vagus nerve, which we can see right here. So that's all I have today, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and most importantly, I hope you learned something new. Thank you for watching.